I'm an attention whore, you know what I mean? I love it. I'm a slut for it. You know, I love the attention. I'm like, it's me, yeah.
Let's talk about your part 2 album as well.
All these patterns that I was going for in my life. Love doesn't have to be this like big ups and downs and like, I love you and I want to like rip my heart out for you. And it's like so not okay, you know, to be like every emotion needs to eat me alive, you know? I thought forever that when all these things that I was looking for, that like all my problems were going to vanish, you know? And all these people adoring me and loving me and telling me I'm great and beautiful, and I thought I would feel that way, and that was like the most loneliest feeling I had.
Oh, will you tattoo me?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, like what are we gonna do?
I'm not great at it though.
No,
you
it doesn't
know,
have to be great, but we can just do a small something somewhere.
Okay, cool.
Maybe a wrist something or other.
I'm gonna be very in there.
Hey, Teddy Swims.
Hey, bud.
How are you?
I'm really good.
I'm Fearne. It's really nice to meet you.
You too.
Thank you for welcoming us into your amazing, colourful dressing room with all of your outfits behind, which are for tonight's show at Wembley.
Yeah, how cool, man. Second
How
one.
Cool. Second one.
Yeah, it's such an honor.
Did you, when you went out last night, did you say the famous, iconic "Hello Wembley"?
Yeah, absolutely. You got to.
You have to.
Well, I think I said, Wembley, what's up?
Yes.
I think I totally blew it. I messed it up.
No, Wembley, what's up is absolutely fine.
Yeah, that's cool.
But and the amount of legends you'll see when you're walking the
I
corridors
know, it's
who have
so
played
cool.
here.
It's so cool to have, you know, 2 sold out shows here. I feel like you know, I mean, it's cool.
It's ace. I mean,
It's an honor.
you're having such a great, I mean, the year is young, but you're having such a good 2025 already. We saw you
Yeah.
at the Brits last week in your incredible teddy bear coat, which we loved. And then what are we calling it, a bed costume on stage?
Yeah, it's like a duvet situation, you know, and they made it all out of my tattoos and stuff, like everything. Even our stage here on the tour is like made of my little tattoos are all over it. It's kind of cute.
So
It's been a little theme
great.
they're doing.
I love it. And you liked singing at the Brits. It was a good atmosphere.
Oh, it's so cool, man. It was so cool. And you got to hang out. I think, you know, what they said, it was like, it's kind of like the Grammys, but like just, I guess, like less posh and a lot more drinking, you know what I mean? Which
Yep.
is, I loved about it.
Bit
'cause
looser.
I think I think it's just, I think overall the culture of it is just everybody's like happy for each other. And I think there's always some stuff with the Grammys where people are just like, he should have won that. She should have won that.
Take
You
it
know,
too
there's
seriously.
there's always like a little bit of that going on, and I'm just like, dude, there's room for everybody. Just be happy for them, dude.
Well,
you know?
the Brits welcome you here. Like, we're not taking any of it seriously. We just want to have a nice time.
Yeah, that's all I'm here
That's
to
what
do.
it should be
You know
like,
what I mean?
really.
Hell yeah.
I mean, you are having the maddest time. You're obviously touring all about the place. You're playing these huge shows like the Grammys, like the Brits, playing Wembley, traveling the world. You've got a baby on the way. How are you processing all of this? Like, can you sleep at night? It feels like it's a lot going on for you.
It is. It's a lot, you know, and then there's always so many things that are happening. There's not enough time in a day for sure, but I'm doing well with it. You know, there's times I get a little guilty that I feel like, you know, my poor girl's just kind of pregnant as hell right now, and you know I'm not there for her, and I know she's kind of struggling, but she's such a trooper, and she's getting up and going Pilates every day, and still
Wow.
recording songs and videos, and she's just absolutely kicking ass 6 months pregnant. So I just what an awesome girl, man. She's gonna crush it, and I can't wait we have next month to be together, and she'll be joining me in Dublin for about a week here in a couple
Nice.
days. So
Oh, and then you
yeah,
get to be a dad and
yeah,
have your little baby time. It's
yeah.
going to be amazing. How are you feeling about that next
No,
chapter?
I'm so excited. I was just like it's like a never-ending chapter though. That one is, you
Yep.
know. So I'm excited. I'm nervous, you know, but I don't have any fear of it though. I think I'm gonna crush it.
Yeah, you're going to crush it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a beautiful experience. And I think well, I mean, my own personal experience of being a parent, it makes you think about everything in a different light. I think you also get to know yourself a lot better because you're confronted with the good parts of yourself, the parts like the strength that you have,
Oh
and the
yeah.
resilience, but also you're confronted with the bits you really don't like about yourself. You've got to look at that every day because your patience is tested, your sleep deprivation. It's quite an amazing experience to go through in terms of that level of self-reflection.
Yeah, my engineer tour was talking about his kids are, you know, getting up there. I think when I'm 16 or something, he's seen him do something not the other day, like just kind of throwing his shirt on the floor, and he's like, "Man, why do they keep doing this?" And he's called himself and was like, "Oh, because I do this shit. They got this
Yep.
from me, you know, and I can't even be mad because I fucking do this."
Well, we've taught them everything.
Yeah,
All the bad
exactly.
habits
So
they're doing. We've taught them the bad habits.
and so you can't be that's one thing I'm like, I guess have to be really mindful of my bad habits that I don't sometimes know because I've just been, kicking my shoes off right there, like right fucking there. You know what I mean?
There.
So I'm gonna have to figure out how to stop doing that before that happens, and they're just scattered everywhere.
It's going to happen. It's going to be back in your face,
I know.
reflected like a
I
mirror.
need to be training right now.
Let's talk about your part 2 album as well, which is so beautiful and obviously being massively celebrated. Everyone's loving it and hearing all these different beautiful lyrics that are so heartfelt and meaningful, and hearing you belt them out live as well. I've heard you talk in previous interviews about where you were at before writing this album. Part 1, there was a lot of heartache, or you were
Yeah.
maybe like left in a bit of a pool of heartache at the end of it. Going into that writing process for this album, where were you at? As you started feeling better, were you healing?
Yeah, was with this wonderful woman back in love, and like, just I'm in a better place. Had tried therapy, that was a big one, and shout out to her because she kind of like finessed me into therapy weirdly, like a good woman should.
Yeah.
She just kind of was like, I think we should go to couples therapy as we're having a baby. I want to make sure our communication's great, we're healed, and the next thing you know, we're in therapy, and I'm like, I kind of want to do like next thing. I'm talking to therapists on the side, and I find myself in solo sessions, and I'm like, that bitch is so. She got me.
She did it. She tricked you into it. I mean, prior to that, were you against therapy? You just hadn't tried it?
The whole thing of the first one was like, I wanted to kind of start having that conversation, and I promised myself after the first part came out that I was going to go into it, and there was just still always. I mean, if you want to do something, you're going to make time for it. But there was still some, I guess I was kind of making excuses at the time. Oh, there's this going on today. Or I don't know. I haven't found the person or blah, 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 and I was kind of just making a bunch of excuses. And I'm glad I finally did it. And I find it so funny too, because, I talk about this same thing on the stage every night too. I'll say, coming in the second album and, talking about I'm having a love and back in love. And I was like, I've gone to therapy. I've tried therapy, everyone. And you hear like a couple people like, woo, such a quiet clap. And I say, I'm having a child, and everybody screams. And I'm like, well, it seems like you guys are just absolutely unregulated yourselves, all of you. Like a whole lot of you. There's like 100 people in a 15,000 cap room that might scream for you going to therapy. Everybody else is
I'll
like,
be whooping. I
don't need that.
Therapy is the best.
It is.
It's changed my life. I mean, were you scared going into it thinking, what am I going to uncover? What am I going to have to look at?
No, I don't think so. I think there's like, I don't know. I don't know what I was scared of. I guess maybe there was a piece of that. I don't know. I never really thought about it that way. It was just, I don't know why I was so, I guess, I think there's just like there's some sort of like generational ideal on that's painted, that you just feel like you don't need it, or like you're like, or I know what's wrong with me. I don't need nobody to tell me what's wrong with me. That kind of thing, maybe, maybe that was what it is. And
Yeah.
and as much as I'd like to say, I was like, oh, I'm so open to it. For some reason, it took me so long to get there. And so I don't know what I was really blocking me, but I was saying I was so absolutely ready to do it, but not doing it. So,
But it's so normal to feel like that. I think most of us go into it thinking, oh, there's so many other things I'd rather be doing than sitting talking about the past or the things that I know are haunting me still. And it's a strange process. I've been going on off for years and years and years, but I've found a therapist that I've really clicked with in the last year. But even so, and even though I've been going on off for a long time, I know that I walk in there with this sort of suit of armor on, like, you're not going to get through to me today. And I'm not even doing it consciously, but I'm kind of all, yeah, hi, I'm fine, I've had a great week, how are you, and doing all the bullshit patter. And this therapist can sort of get through that hard exterior to kind of talk to the real me, but I still find it so hard to, I guess, be vulnerable or to just completely relax into, I'm going to talk about exactly what I'm scared of, exactly what I'm feeling about. Have you experienced that? Like, what was your first initiation into it?
I me and my girl were I guess, kind of, we're starting to see as the pregnancy happened, and it was nothing too serious, but just little problems that were coming up, and of course, like, they ended up being bigger and bigger problem, and it was like, so that was a great way of like coming into it, because I felt like, I don't know, I felt like it was great to have her there and us discuss our things,
Yeah.
you know. And I guess it kind of like softened the blow of maybe me having to just jump headfirst in with somebody I didn't know for the first time over Zoom, you know. So that was great to have, like, I guess as a couples therapy, to have somebody I was comfortable with and also comfortable sharing feelings with, and whether it's with for them or against them or whatever the problem may have been, you know. And so I think I had a very easy time jumping straight in because I needed to. We needed our communication to be great, and so I think that was it was much I guess a safer environment having somebody that I am intimate with already.
Completely, completely. Because it is such an alien concept. You're talking to someone you've never met
Yeah.
about things that you might not, some stuff I've never said out loud to anyone. I've not even actually admitted some of the stuff to myself. And then you're
Yeah,
telling
sure.
someone else, and it's so jarring to have those words leave your mouth, but freeing, like it's liberating.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sometimes you're like, well, I guess I could be doing this because of this reason, and you're like, sometimes you catch yourself stumbling on,
Yeah.
yeah, like, oh, maybe you're just self-diagnosing, in the best way. Sometimes you're like, oh shit, well, yeah, mommy issues.
Yeah, this is it. But
Yeah,
I think that's a good therapist, isn't it? When they're not saying, you should do this.
yeah,
They're bringing you to the conclusion. And
yeah,
then you're like, oh shit, I know the answer. I knew it all along, but I couldn't find it in the
yeah,
absolute,
absolutely, yeah.
thunderstorm of shit in my head. It's the most amazing process and obviously so different for everyone. Do you feel like you've had big breakthroughs, things that have been quite game changing for
Yeah,
you?
absolutely. And I think there's so much of it too that I was like, there's so many things that I've learned about, I guess, the love that I was accepting and I guess searching for these patterns that I was going for in my life was just, there was like, love doesn't have to be this like big ups and downs and like I love you and I want to like rip my heart out for you and I want to like die, like it's not like it doesn't like I'm not gonna die over it, you know what I
No.
mean? It's not love is not it's like so not okay, to be like every emotion needs to eat me alive, and I thought that was just like what I don't know. I felt things so, and I do feel things so deeply, but it doesn't have to define me,
Yeah.
And I just would let like every tiny little emotion in my heart, which thank God, I mean, it paid the bills, like so.
It's
Thank
paying
God,
the bills.
yeah.
These
So,
songs you're writing, that
yeah.
is you ripping your heart out.
But I can also take that, put that into that, and leave it there,
Yeah.
and let it go, and use that as a tool to get that stuff out, rather than letting it just fester inside of me. I found that there was a time where I was like writing songs that. If you're in this place and you write a song about it, you release it, you write it down, you release that feeling. But when you start writing it in 1,000 different ways, actually the tiny problem that you might have wrote a song about, if I wrote it in like 1,000 different ways, now I've like festered and wrote albums on albums about this one tiny thing that now is probably the biggest thing in my life because I've just put so much effort and energy and trying to formulate the right ways to say it and the right melodies to use. And then I've now given this problem of mine or this person of mine way more power than they should have had to begin with, and I was making these small problems into giant problems by just like trying to put them in the perfect way and overthinking it and overwriting it and overdoing it and not just like using it as a tool to release this feeling,
I think we all do that. Even, obviously you're a songwriter, but I think many of us, we end up telling the same story to our friends or whoever going, oh, this happened and then they did this. And then all of a sudden you are reconfirming that narrative again and again. And like
Yeah.
you say, it's just this one thing it can take over your whole life. It sort of becomes so all consuming.
Yeah, you're speaking that all into your soul and into existence every time you're saying it,
Yeah.
and yeah, it can be a very very terrible pattern that I have trying to still always unlearn. It's a lot of
Yeah, me
unlearning
too.
that
Me
is going
too.
into
Oh,
this.
it's
Yeah.
a lot of unlearning. It's all that's what it is, isn't it? It's all the unlearning. I
Yeah.
mean, one thing I've heard you talk about in the context of therapy is looking at your own self-compassion, your own self-love, which I think is probably collectively as humans one of our biggest issues is that we don't even like ourselves or we can't even accept ourselves. And actually, when you can start to feel around the edges of that, everything does become so much easier. I'm definitely not 100% there, but I'm on the road, and it's a very curious path that I feel I'm on to liking myself and
That's
working out who I
great.
really
Hell
am.
yeah, dude.
Who the fuck am I? Where are you with that?
Well, I think the older I seem to get, the further I get from who I thought I was, in a way.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I just like, my values and everything changes all the time. But the things that are important to me are not the things that were important to me before, and it's like almost got to learn to love this different. I just like the person you're with. If you marry somebody for 20 years, you gotta like learn to love every version of that person. They're never gonna be the same the next day and the next day and the next day. And it's I try to decide to just like keep myself vulnerable and open and honest at all points of where I am, even when I'm whether it's on stage or in public or anything. I feel like I'm very lucky to have a safe place in my life that I my emotionally I'm able to be safe, and so many people have given me a safe place to tell my feelings and have these kind of conversations. So
Yeah.
I'm always able to have this place of just knowing and trying to, I guess, figure out where I am right now, and trying to love that person, or trying to love the best thing about it, and so most days I absolutely love me, I'm really grateful to love me most days, but some days like this morning after I got fucking shitty last night. It was a little harder to love me this morning. I was like, you fucking idiot. But then you got to tell yourself, don't do. Why are you talking to yourself like that? Don't talk to yourself like that. Look at yourself in the eyes and
Yeah.
say, I love you. But it's not always
Yes.
easy to do that.
The bad self-talk is
Yeah.
so
Oh, it's
horrible.
so terrible for you. You stormy. What are you
Bad.
doing?
And we don't talk to other people like that. We
No,
talk to ourselves in the most mean way. It's the pits. And I catch myself doing it all the time. Why am I doing this?
just
I
bullying
know.
myself. Like,
Bullying yourself.
yeah.
And that I think leads to, in its extreme, depression, anxiety.
Oh
Like it
yeah.
takes you down that path. It's horrible.
Yeah. I try to make sure that I like look at myself, and even if I know it may sound the silliest thing, but look at myself and say, I love you. You're beautiful, dude. You're crushing it. And I try to do that. Just look myself in the eyes and say that, because I found so many times when in my life you walk by a mirror, and when you're walking by a mirror, I find that even before you get to the mirror, you might like suck in a bit. You might go ahead and put yourself so that way when you get in the mirror, like this is what you look like. Fix yourself up. And as soon as you turn from that mirror, you
Yeah.
put that gut right back out. So I don't know why I'd like lie to myself when I go over there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
We all do it.
Yeah. And instead, I look at my outfit, I look at everything, but I don't look at myself in the eyeballs. And it was like weird to finally like break that barrier of making eye contact with myself and be like, dude,
Yeah.
I
It's so
see you.
awkward at first,
I
isn't
see
it?
you. Yeah.
It's so awkward, like looking at yourself and talking to yourself in
Yeah.
the mirror. It's so confronting and bizarre. And to say, I remember talking to a friend about this. When she was in recovery, would have to look at herself in the mirror and say, first of all, I like you, which then progressed to
Yeah.
I love you. And she couldn't even say it the first month. Couldn't even look at it, and I went home and obviously tried it and was like, cringing, like I like you, and it's so awkward and fucking weird. But the more you practice it, and you start to believe it, and you can
Yeah.
actually start to like yourself.
It's amazing. It's changed my life doing that, and yeah, it's a very awkward thing to do, and it's definitely not something like if you want somebody to walk in on you doing.
No.
That's like gonna be the worst feeling in the world.
Be
Just me
awful.
telling myself I love myself. I should be proud of it, but instead I'd feel so embarrassed.
So embarrassed. And do you find the more that you like yourself, the less you're seeking validation in an exterior fashion?
Yeah, I think so, but I think I think for so long in my life this was the thing about originally becoming and getting to this point, or like I thought forever that when enough people said I was good at this, or that I was, all these things that I was looking for, that like all my problems were going to vanish. Like I thought that I would have success financially, and all these people adoring me and loving me and telling me I'm great and beautiful, and I thought I would feel that way, and that was like the most loneliest feeling I had when I first started, I guess, on this trajectory of this amount of success, or I guess validation in a way. And I just was so depressed. I felt like everyone was lying to me, or I was lying to everybody, and it was like the same way of going to look in the mirror and getting myself all prepped up, and like I felt like I was just like, I guess, not being fully transparent, and I think being that way has freed me from that, that feeling of I thought they were all these people in this building tonight were gonna free me and make me like myself, and I just didn't believe any of them.
Isn't it mad? I mean, we all, to an extent, believe in the notion of fame, that the
Yeah.
more popular you are, that somehow that is going to support your self-worth and make you
Oh,
feel
it's so far from the
free
truth.
and great. And like you're saying, it's the opposite. It's the opposite. But it's so interesting you saying you actually started to get paranoid that people are lying to you. I
Yeah.
mean, that's how extreme, and I'm imagining uncomfortable that is, because you're like, wait a minute, I was promised some sort of freedom and liberation here, and now I feel the direct opposite. It's mad.
Yeah, now like where I was struggling to keep my lights and water on, this is the hardest my life has ever been. You know what I mean? It's such a crazy thing. It's like this is so difficult all the time, you know, and it's so giving so much of yourself too, and trying to make sure you find that time and place for yourself, and not be seeking for the validation. Of course I'm like I'm an attention whore, you know what I mean? I love it. I'm a slut for it. You know, I love the attention. I'm like, don't let me tell you I don't. You know what I mean? Obviously, like I love being like,
You're wearing a leopard
it's me.
print kaftan
Yeah, it's
tonight.
like, yeah,
Look at me.
I'm different. Like, of course, like we all, I guess, at some degree, we all have me more than others, I guess, but we all have this, like, I guess, this need for. Mom, look at me. Dad, look at me.
Yeah.
Go, you know, I think that's just
We've all got
ingrained
it.
in us, you
Of
know?
course. But I guess it's how much you take that seriously and take it home without looking at
Yeah.
it and going, I think if you know, and we've probably all seen it happen, play out in the public eye, or we know people that have really imbibed every bit of gratification and probably negative feedback as well. And it wrecks you because you constantly seeking it and need bolstering, but also when you are then told you haven't done something right or people give you shit, you don't know how to cope with it. You can't handle it.
Yeah, I find it's like, you know, and I understand, I sometimes wonder like, what am I doing this for? You know, is it to like, is it to be like something like I want to make a difference on this earth and not be forgotten? Because I think ultimately oblivion is inevitable. Like the Beatles will be get forgotten. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
if like I was doing this to be the best ever or to be remembered, surely I'm in the wrong business. Like serial killers are going to be remembered way further than any musician. I was like, I might as well just have murdered people. And I could, if I wanted to be remembered. You know what I mean? So I don't think I'm doing it for that reason. You know what I mean? So like, what am I doing this for? Sometimes I ask like, what the fuck do I do? Do I want to be remembered forever, or do I just like, or do I really love this? Do I just really love this? What I'm doing? Do I really just want to like? Do I want to make a difference, or do I also love what I'm doing? You know, and I think that's for me is it's like I love this craft and I love this art and I love this self expression and I of course I want to be the best, you know, but I don't think I'm doing it to be remembered by any means, you know. It's
But
like
how good to have that conclusion now. I
Yeah.
think that's so interesting to actually have the clarity to go, I just want to be on that stage singing a song and making people feel good. Like that's enough of a
for
reason.
even just now, that's fine. Yeah.
That's enough of a reason to do it. I think when we get so fixated on this end result of I must be the best or remembered in anything, it doesn't have to be, you know, just in the public eye. I'm talking about anything that we do in our private lives or in our working life. If that's the goal, we're always going to be disappointed.
Yeah,
Rather than
certainly.
what am I feeling? Like, am I feeling good in it? And I mean, obviously you're on this great trajectory as we've talked about, but have you had moments where you thought, actually, I'm not enjoying this, I don't like this, and felt a bit lost in it?
Yes, sure. I mean, there's times where this can, you know, sometimes feel like a job, and you know, me and my boys will always say like, you know, we'll try to reprioritize gratefulness. You know, it's just like, you know, I try to get up and some days like, you know, today, I was just telling him we are about to get an interview, and I was like, God damn, what are we doing this? You know, I feel like shit. You know, and it felt like a, but as soon as I got in there and like, you know, I loved it. I had a blast having a conversation. But you know, there's times where it feels like a job, and you got to reprioritize your gratefulness sometimes and say like, what are you bitching about, man? You have a beautiful life. You're doing your best. I mean, you got the best career with your best friends and the best woman and the best kid on the way. And, you know, you're going to like everything's going so well. What do you have to bitch about? Well, then some days, you know, you just need to bitch and that's okay too. And I'm
Yeah.
trying to learn the balance of just like, I want to be upset and lay around. I'm going to fucking do it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
too
Some days I'm
right.
just like, I'm upset. And that's okay. It's all right to mope. You know, it's got to
course it
just
is.
give yourself time to be a little baby. Fuck it.
Yeah, too right. You need a tantrum day.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. And then what about the writing bit? Because, you know, one of the reasons that you can fill Wembley Arena 2 nights in a row is because you're writing these lyrics that people are connecting with. Yes, they want to hear you sing because you've got this raw talent and it's an amazing thing to watch live. But people are, and I'm sure you feel this, they're connecting with what you're saying. They're songs that people are going to play when they're heartbroken. They're songs that people
Yeah.
are going to play when they're getting married. They're songs people are going to play at the birth of their kids. You know, they're big emotional songs. Where are those lyrics coming from? Do you feel like you've always had the ability to access that part of you that can really clearly express big feelings? It's hard to do that.
Yeah, I feel like I've just always been in that way where I mean I was overly sensitive and emotional as a kid, but my dad was always there to be like so available emotionally and I guess like intelligent emotionally and like was able to just like would talk to me about things, and like let me talk about my feelings and ask why, not like a because I told you so or because I said so. He always let me do that and like have my big feelings and have my emotions and why is this affecting you this way? Why do you feel this way? And I think that set me up for a lot of, I guess, knowing why I feel this way versus I just feel this way. And I think the biggest thing when it comes to writing songs is that the ability to access those emotions and put them into words. I have so many good people that help me, put those feelings into words and help. I mean, it's the best people in the world, that help me do that, and I'm forever grateful to be able to do that, on this scale. And I think just having that space is saved my life in so many ways.
Yeah, I mean, just putting pen to paper, like writing a
Yeah.
diary, writing a journal, like if it's not even songs, just writing stuff down is so
Oh yeah,
powerful.
I think every day I write. I think I would say that to anybody. Is there's write something every day, whether it's a journal, whether it's like a stream of consciousness, whether it's a
Yeah.
diary or whether it's a song or a poem. Just writing. It's always been my best friend. It's the only thing that's always been there for me.
Yeah, yeah, yes, and you've got control over it. You can do it whenever you want, however you want, for as long as you want. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I think it's also too. You find it like I heard this. I heard somebody say this. It's like you find like when you're going through an issue that like it's so hard for you to know what to do about it, but when somebody else is going through that same issue, it's like you can give them the perfect advice and
Yeah,
know exactly what to do. And they say so much is like a apple tree is like the the fruit on the tree is not for the tree, that it's for the people walking by, and the fruit that's like the wisdom you get from the things you're going through that you might not know what to do. And so I thought it was such a beautiful thought to say that like that the apples are not for the tree itself. The apples are for the people walking by. That's
yeah.
just the fruit is.
But
That's your
why
fruit.
don't we trust ourselves to give ourselves the advice? That's the weird bit for me,
Yeah.
because I will happily dispense advice to anyone that wants to hear, like, oh, babe, you need to do this. I know exactly what you're going through. And then when it's me, I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm
Yeah.
fucked. I don't know how to cope with this. We don't trust ourselves.
I
It's
know it's
so
weird.
strange.
And I think the best thing about writing with that when it comes to writing, I find that it's almost like you can see it on paper in front of you and you can read it back to yourself like you're being told that. And I find that I'm way better at thinking out and giving myself advice when I'm writing it down because then it's like somebody else is saying it if I'm reading it.
Yeah.
Like it's being told to me rather than me saying it.
Yeah, and just internalizing it,
Yeah.
ruminating upon everything, having it. I mean, as you can see, I've got my nerdy notepad, which I carry everywhere, which is just full of stuff. And it's the pen on paper is just, it's magic. It just does something. It's so brilliant. Going back to your dad, he must have, like, he's a forward thinking man. Because we're talking here, what, late 90s, early noughties, where he's
Yeah.
guiding you as a parent
And he's the best,
telling
man.
you to, feel your feelings.
Well,
That's
and,
rare.
also like I have two little brothers, and their mom is schizophrenic and bipolar, and been in and out of their life, and just prison and stuff. And so, I think like he really was just like had to be mom and dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he has this everything that you need to do to become both. He's just always been gentle and soft and hugging and kissing and loving and just feel those feelings, baby. I love you. I love you. I love you. And I think I so lost in like in men. I think too. It's such a. I think there's so many toughness about like dudes that I didn't have that experience, and I always feel so bad. It took sometimes it takes so long for like a couple of my buddies here even to be like tell you they love you back. They're getting to like you got to break them down into that or tell them, hey, you're so beautiful, man. You look great today.
Yeah.
Damn boy, you look sexy, dog. And without it being like,
Yes.
whoa, dude, and it's like now it's like, dude, I can call my buddy hot, dude. It's okay. I'm
Yeah,
not
can
coming
you-
for you. I don't want
You
you.
need
Like,
to kickstart this revolution.
yeah,
We
we
need
need
this.
dudes. Women are like that.
Oh,
Women tell
we're
each other how
constantly
beautiful.
going,
Yeah,
you look absolutely stunning. Oh my God, I want to snog your face off. Like, I'm telling my
Yeah.
friends this all day. You lot need to, well, you're doing it, but we need to
yeah.
spread
That's
this.
what I'm saying. Dudes gotta normalize like hugging and kissing on each other. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be all like, whoa, dude, you trying to bone me? Are you gay, bro? Like it's
No,
who
it's
cares?
crazy. It's great, but I love that your dad's done that. Is he still someone that you'd call now as
Oh,
an adult
all the
and go,
time.
tell me what to do?
Everything that good or bad in my life, he's the first call. I'm like, Dad, what the fuck what's going on? Or, hey, Dad, this amazing thing happened. You know, just anything. He's my first guy.
So brilliant. And also, it just stands you in the best stead when you're parenting to fall back on everything that he's done right, that you can go, oh my God,
absolutely.
my kid's having a tantrum and freaking out. It's okay. Like, the world's not going to end. I can let them do this, rather than, I think a lot of the time, especially when they're little, you think, I've got to stop them being upset. I must do something to just halt this huge emotion. But actually, your dad's already taught you, and I'm learning this for the first time, as a parent now. It's all right just to let them feel how they're feeling. And then I've got to parent myself and teach myself that as well, that I'm allowed to feel big feelings.
Yeah, I have a tattoo of Mr. Rogers here. I don't know if you guys had Mr. Rogers out here, but he was the best, man.
Who's Mr. Rogers?
He was on a PBS, or a public broadcasting network or whatever, and it was like he was a puppet guy, and they did a documentary on it, and they did a movie about him that Tom Hanks played him in, and he's just the best, man. He would always say songs like, he was like really was first person that was like talking to children with these puppets and talking to children about death, like a fish died, and telling them about, handle it first, or saying, there's one song he sang that was, what do you do with the mad that you feel? Just know that you can stop, that you can stop. And then he would just teach, I don't know, as I was coming up, my grandparents were Pentecostal pastors. And so when we get off the bus at their house, we weren't allowed to watch anything but those kind of shows, right? We couldn't see any of the other stuff. So I just watched him all the time, and he was just such a emotionally, and he's my hero, dude. Mr. Rogers.
I love that you got a tattoo of him.
Yeah, he's the best.
So great.
The best human being ever. You should look into him and like some of the shows, and that's what I want to raise my kid on. Is like, he's gonna watch Mr. Rogers.
Yes, he's gonna be forced to on YouTube. Watch all the repeats. I love it. We have to talk about your tattoos. I know it's basic and it's obvious, but they're there and they're art, and they are clearly such a huge part of how you also express yourself alongside songwriting. Does it feel like that? Does it feel like an essential need to express yourself in that way?
Yeah, I also too. I think like when I was a kid, one of the things I wanted the most was like when people asked me, "What do you want to be when you're older?" I was like, one of the biggest things for me was tattooed. I loved it. I loved rock stars and like guys that were tattooed. They just look badass, and I always wanted to be that. I remember my mom used to give us like $10 at the end of the week, and for doing our chores all week, and it would come to Friday, we give us $10, and when it comes to church, you have to give your tithe, which is 10%. So I'd give $1 reluctantly, and my older brother would give $5 because he's a fucking overachiever. Fuck that guy, right? And so I was like, dude,
you're making me look bad.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. So take that, Jesus. So, but anyway, I used to go. I get all my money in the little quarters and stuff, and we go to this Mexican restaurant all the time on Sundays after church, and I'd just rack out on the 50 cent machines and just stick the little fake tattoos all over me, flex in the mirror and stuff. When I was a little kid, I just thought I was so fucking cool, and here I am, being the exact guy I wanted to be. So
I had that exact epiphany when I watched. Do you remember the band Crazy Town, the song Butterfly? That music video, that like he was heavily tattooed.
Oh, yeah.
And I watched that and went, that's what I'm doing. And that started off a whole love affair with tattoos and the art of tattoos. And I haven't quite stopped on that one. It's just the best. They're gorgeous.
Yeah, my favorite thing in the world is like we just got a machine over there, and I've been getting everybody in the crew to do some tattoos on me now, which has been cute.
I mean, will you tattoo me?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, like what are we going to do?
I'm not great at it though.
No, it doesn't have to be great, but we can just do a small something somewhere.
Okay, cool.
Maybe a wrist something or other.
Cute, okay.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
I'll give you a tattoo.
We're going to do a tattoo, guys. This is the first Happy Place tattoo. We've never done this on a podcast. I've had some really bad spontaneous ones over the years. Many are hidden. Some bad ones. So let's go the best you've got, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
The best you've got.
Sure.
Because I've got enough shit ones already. So we'll go like high-end Teddy Swims.
I'll try my best.
Okay, good.
I don't know if it'd be that much of a high-end one. I think my funnest thing is I always get everybody to sign, their tattoos too. I think it's been like, as I go and travel, like people will hit me up and they're maybe come to the show, like, hey, can I come tattoo you? And so I just tell them to design whatever they want. And
so great.
And sign
have you got any room? You got no room left, surely?
Yeah, I got a little room here and still on my sides, and a lot of my back still undone, and back of my thighs, and I'm really getting close though. I'm getting there.
Back is all. I've got a lot
Oh,
of my
it's
back done. It's
fucking
so
miserable. I
painful.
know.
It's so bad. It's so bad. There was one
awful.
where I nearly bailed. It was about 5 hours long, and I was like, I think I'm just gonna have to leave it half done.
Yeah, I
It's
did.
too much.
That's what I've done on my back, and I haven't been back, and it's been like 4 years, you know. And
And
it
feet.
happens to feet suck.
Feet are
but
so
they're-
bad.
It wasn't that bad. This one wasn't that bad.
Oh
for me.
no, feet. This foot's done, and it was horrendous. So bad. I did not like it. But then I also have given birth to children, and that is worse.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't have said that for all the women listening. Maybe it won't be as bad as that. Maybe it will be quite peaceful and lovely. What joy it's been talking to you today.
Yeah, you too.
I've loved it, and I hope you have the best gig tonight. It's going to be magic. You're going to have
Thank
the
you.
best time. I will end on this note. Where
Okay.
is your happy place?
There on the stage. I love that space. It's the best. I think it's like I do the best job with my best friends I've known my whole life, and we get to get up there and, I guess like kick the shoes off and walk around, and you just chat and live, laugh, cry. It's the freest place for me.
Beautiful. Well, enjoy it tonight in your happy place.
Yeah, sure will.
Let's do some tattooing.
Okay.
Let's make it happen.
We do, we could just have a little
Your
bear.
shop's open right now.
Yeah, the shop's open.
Shop is open.
Yeah.
You see my little sign in there? It says Tats.
Oh yeah, you gotta get a picture
Oh yeah,
of
we'll
that
get a
at some point.
picture of that. Yeah.
What are you doing?
It's probably a little bear here.
Oh my god. You know my little
Oh,
bear
I
here?
like it.
It could be, because I've got green, it could be nice green.
Okay, let's try green.
Yeah. Do green.
I'm in.
Okay.
I'm gonna be very in there.
Is that quick, guys? Done.
We'll see how well he's in there. I don't know if I've been it down. I'm still learning.
Yeah, he's there. That's so cute. You've done it so neat.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you've done it so neat. Oh my god. I love it.
Good.
Oh my god, my toe
Yeah.
swims.
That is great.
It's so cute.
Your lines are so good.
So
Yeah, I'm getting
neat.
better at it. Yeah.
You're getting so good. I love it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he's really in there.
Oh my god. Thank you so
Yeah, I
much.
heard.
That's fucking great.
That is really good.